Welcome to the SI Farmer Podcast, a podcast where we talk farming, technology, business, farming tactics, farming and marketing tactics, and we do it all with a focus on the small and the mid-sized farmer, helping small and mid-sized farmers market their farm products to the consumers better, and today's no exception. So, welcome to 2023. I'm recording this about a week early, trying to get through the holidays. And anyway, but we just had, I don't know about you guys, but we had some brutal weather here for us. For my friends up north, this is early spring. But for us, -6 real temperatures and wind chills down 20, 30 below zero. That's cold for us. We start to worry about our stock and, taking care of our stock and making sure buildings and vehicles and fuel and all that doesn't go, a bad way. But it's a great time of year when you get your morning chores done, you get the things that have to be done. What a great time of year to think about what's next. And if you listen to this podcast, I love to talk about, and I love the ideas of introspection, because I like to think about what's next. How do I get better at what I do? How do we do a better job for ourselves, our family, our customers, how do you do that? And it takes thought, and it's not something you just do. You have to think about it. You have to have a plan. You have to have a plan to take action. And then, the most important part is you actually have to take action. But I love that process. And this time of year is absolutely perfect. You've all probably made New Year's resolutions. I've done good at some. I've done horrible at others. But the idea of making a resolution, something you're going to do to get better, something you're going to change, or you're gonna work on, you're gonna be better at. Maybe it's being kinder. Maybe it's trying to lose weight. Maybe it's you're going to do a better job with your business. But I love New Year's resolutions, and what a great time to think about what's next for our farms and our businesses. This is, for most of us, this is the slower time of the year. We get our chores done, and then it's too cold to be outside, doing the ancillary stuff. So we kind of come back in and we get a few minutes to sit and reflect on what's next. So let's get into it.
I have a love-hate relationship with marketing. Really? I've got to do what? All I want to do is farm.
Welcome to the SI Farmer Podcast. If you want to market your farm-based business, or craft food business directly to the consumer, this is the place for you. Welcome to the show. So, New Year's resolutions. What's your resolution this year? What are you doing? Ours, we decided, about middle of last year, we decided we were going to launch a program trying to help. And that's, if you've listened to this podcast, my big question that I always ask is, how can I help? I ask it in my, our main business. I ask it when I'm farming, how can I help? I ask it to our employees. I ask it to our friends, our families, how can I help? And if I can, I try to help. And we had this concept, Dee and I, my wife, we are two veteran marketers. We have made lots of companies, lots of money over the years, and we've helped them by giving them sound advice and then showing them how to follow through on it. And so we made this, we came up with this idea in this with SI Farmer of how to help small and mid-sized farmers who are struggling. You're sort of going from that hobby to commercial farm, or that commercial farm where you're still working the off-site job to pay for the farm, pay for the privilege of farming. I mean, this is an absolutely wonderful life. I mean, anybody who likes the outdoors and likes, doing this kind of stuff, this is a fantastic life, but it's hard. And it's easy, and I see it a lot. It's easy for people to take something that's a hobby, something they're passionate about and they love, and they want to turn it into a business. And so that passion and that love and that, that energy goes into the product and the service. But what we forget is that, we have to make money at this for it to support us and for us to do this full time. And so, our resolution in 2022 was to do something to substantively, is that a word? substantively help. And that was our resolution. And so we've worked for the past couple of months off and on trying to get things set up and ready. And here we are in the beginning of 2023, and it's ready. It's go time for us. We want to help, and we think we have the tools and the processes and the people in place to be able to actually help a lot of people. But when we make a resolution, just the idea of making a resolution and a plan helps point us in the right direction. It answers some of those questions of what do we want? What do we want out of life? What do we want out of our business? What do we want out of, our relationships? And just that act of making that resolution, what are you going to do differently? What are you going to change? Helps. And, when you think about what we're trying to do, or when I think about what we're trying to do, we are at such a fantastic crossroads of people needing and wanting the products and services that small farms are producing, and this jump in ease of access to technology that allows small and mid-sized farmers, businesses in general, to market to those who want products and services that we're producing. And it takes a little bit of knowledge, but it is well within the reach of almost everyone. And that's what we're trying to help do. So, if you've made the resolution to take this farm, this business that you've probably poured your heart and soul into, I mean, I know I have. I have poured my heart and soul into our farm. I love our farm. And you're ready to say, I need to make this something that can sustain me and my family, that can do the things we need, provide benefits, provide an income, then what a great year to start. I mean, what an exciting time to start. I remember I launched our first true online business in 1996, 97. And it was out of reach of most people, not from a money standpoint, from a knowledge standpoint. It was, back in that day, there were programs and you had to write a lot of code just to be able to connect the financial side. So you were providing secure connections between a shopping cart system, which didn't come with just a click of a button that was pre-done for you like they have in some of the online e-commerce sites for farms, like Shopify. I've used Shopify for farms before. We've looked at, there's several out there, and we'll get into them. That's one of the things we're going to talk about on this podcast over the coming months. But it was very, very difficult. When you bought a shopping cart system, they basically sent you a PDF that printed out to be several hundred pages of instructions and code variations. And then you went in and you had to do it. And man, if you weren't a coder and you didn't have that talent or that skill, then it was really expensive. And we launched it, and it was fairly successful. But that was our first online business back during the .com, right as the .com era was starting, and it did okay. I mean, it did pretty well. We both had full-time jobs. It was one of those things that we got it to a point, we sold it, and, on we move. But, it was not within the reach of most people. We were lucky to have a weird, odd, eclectic skill set that allowed us to do that. Now, in today's world, there's probably never been a time in not in the past 2 to 3 generations, where people are wanting to shop local, to know where their food comes from, to be able to purchase food directly from the producer. There's probably never been, at least, like I said, in the past couple of generations, there hasn't been a time where this desire for a product and the ability of the producers to actually reach those people and say, hey, you're looking for this product. I have this product. Let's get together. You buy it from me. I'll sell it to you. And hey, I'll sell it to you at a fair price, and you'll pay me a fair price. And man, it all works. there's probably hasn't been that crossroads of technology is where most people can do it. It's not that difficult. And I mean, if you're able to log onto a social media account and upload a picture and you can type a little bit, you don't even have to be able to type a lot. You can do this. And if you join our community, SI Farmer, this is where we'll show you how. But the thing about it is so accessible now, more accessible than it has ever been. And the ability to target people and reach the right people. It's never been this accessible, and this is such an exciting time. I mean, back in, when I was in the advertising and media, and that was my only thing I did. Now it's just part of what I do. But, targeting messaging was this complicated thing. We had research and we had, how do we message and what platforms do we use? And back then it was TV, radio, newspaper. And then we started to get into digital in the mid-90s and really get serious about advertising and marketing to digital and targeting technologies. I mean, you can go on and on about I could devolve into dork speak for a long time about this, but it was a very complicated thing. If you wanted to advertise digitally back in the 1990s and do banner ads and advertise on Facebook and advertise in, on Instagram and all of these places that we can advertise in Google. And so, it was difficult. It was very, very challenging. And you needed people with a lot of skill because otherwise you wasted a ton of money. But in today's world, man, if you can log on to Facebook and you understand some core concepts that are very, very, very simple, I promise you they're easy. You can do this. And what a perfect year to do it. I mean, 2023 could be, dare I say it, the year of the farmer. I mean, what a great time where we have access to this technology that allows us to connect with consumers. We have the ability, the tools in the palm of our hand to do it. 80+% of the United States population has a smartphone. Most smartphones are perfectly capable of taking professional. I'm going to have photography friends that are going to trash me for saying this, but if you know what you're doing with just a little bit of training, and I mean when I say a little bit, one of the courses we're going to be producing in the month in this month or so is how to take professional quality photos with your iPhone or your Galaxy with a smartphone. How do you do it? And there's some basic things that we have to do, but these phones are so good that you can do it. So now we have the photography, the video tools, because most of these phones will shoot. Man, they shoot great video. Now, I'm not going to do network. I'm not going to do work for my television network clients with them, but they shoot perfectly great video. They shoot great video for the small business that you have in the palm of your hand. You use this thing every day. Most of you do. And if you don't, you know what? This might be the time to invest and start learning about it, because this one tool could be the most important tool in your business from a business management and marketing standpoint, But we have all of these tools right in our hands. All we need to do is get somebody, SI Farmer is a great choice, to show us how to use all of these things the right way, and how do we connect with our consumer, how do we connect with customers, so that when, if you've listened to this podcast, you hear me say marketing should be a 4-letter word. But the truth of marketing is we want to put the right product or service in front of the right people at the time they either want or need what we've got to sell. I mean, and we're there. We have this technology. I mean, it's, if you're like me, you remember the $6 million man. We have the technology. We can build it. Well, we can rebuild him, but we can build it. And it is easier now than ever before. I mean, I finally, for years, I would help companies set up e-commerce platforms, and I would help them market it, and I would, kind of give them pointers. It's sort of a, not really what we did, but but I've done it so many. I've done hundreds, if not thousands, of these sites. And up until recently, I'd say in the past year, 2 years, you still had to have a fair bit of technical knowledge. We're at the point where I truly believe, having been in the, inside the guts of these things and seeing how easy they are, I truly believe we're at this point that you don't need to be a technical expert. You don't need to do this. You can do this yourself. And, so when you want to sell stuff when you want to sell your farm products, well, one of the big questions we have to ask is, how are we going to do this? And if you're like me, I would rather have a little bit of technology. And if you hear me talk about technology, I talk about it as, it's a tool. If it doesn't answer one of three questions, so does it save me time? Does it make me money or save me money? Or does it, in some substantial way, improve my life? If it doesn't do any of those three things, I don't have a lot of use for it. I mean, it might be a cool gadget for a minute, but I don't have much use for it because, I try really hard to prioritize my life to focus on the things that are important. And answering the question, how can I help? It's spending quality time with my family. It's, doing the things I love to do, which is farming, and I love helping people. So SI Farmer exists. And, if technology doesn't help me answer one of those three questions, man, I don't have much use for it. But in many cases, for example, technology in selling products, man, it answers a lot of those questions. Can it help me? Does it make me money? Yeah. Does it save me time? You know what? If I don't have to do inventory and I don't have to do these things and I have everything right where I can pick up my phone and answer a customer's question, hey, I need 1,000 of these. Do you have it in stock? Let me check. Yep. So it saves me time. It helps me. If it saves me time and makes me money, then it allows me to do the things that I love, which is helping people, spending time with my family, working on my farm. Then it's answered those questions pretty definitively. And from a small farm's perspective, if you're trying to make that jump to take your farm into from a hobby to a full-time business, or from a small fledgling business and trying to grow it to where it's more of a bigger business, so it allows you to have those things, that time and that income, then it's answered those questions. And I truly and honestly believe there is some technology that allows us to do that. And so I am a big proponent of technology, but only if it answers those questions. If you listen to the podcast, I think it was last week, we talked about, technology when air conditioning came around, it changed our lives because, when I was a kid, we all sat outside. My dad, I think I told the story last week about how, dad would always say, air conditioning did not do a good thing for our community, because at nights, instead of sitting in your house where it was hot and kind of humid and miserable, and you sat outside and you visited with your neighbors. And now you go inside because it's easy. And then we turn on this screen and we sit there and we stare at this boob tube for hours and hours and hours, or our kids play games. Well, that's not a benefit to our society. It's it entertains us. It pacifies us, I guess. But, so again, I'm not a fan of technology just because it's cool. I look at technology with those three questions in mind. Does it save me time? Does it make me money or save me money? There's two ways to increase revenue: is make more money or save money. And then the third thing is, does it in some significant way improve my life? And sometimes that's by answering question 1 or question 2, So, there you have it. But what a great time to jump on and start marketing your farm, to look at your farm and what you're producing and figure out, you know what? We've got, we're producing a good product. We're working, we've got all of the pieces and parts, but how do we market it? And that's where I see a lot of small farms fall down. And it's not that difficult. You can do this. I promise you, you can do this. This is within the grasp of most, if not all, people. If you can log on to Facebook and post a picture every once in a while, you can do this. And I'm excited because I think I want SI Farmer to be a part of it and help, because that answers my how can I help? And I think we have a lot of information that we can give and share. And I hope you have had a wonderful holiday season, and you're ready to hit the ground running and marketing your farms and making the U.S. farmer great. I mean, making the U.S. farmer living up to the legend that, most people see, the farmers and the cowboys and the ranchers. There was a reason that Hollywood glamorized those. Man, we need to get back there. And with that, have a wonderful, blessed day, and I will see you in the next one. Good luck, and God bless.